Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another cast. Guys, today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I've already casted my Escalation game for the day, so I'm going to be casting a game of the Allowed mod, which is a Forged Alliance mod that is specifically designed for co-op games against the AI. And of course, the AI in this mod is so unbelievably strong and fun to play against. Guys, not only is this one of the best co-op adventures and experiences you can have playing in gaming, in RTS in general, this is one of the best co-op experiences you can have in all of gaming. Like, if you get your friends together and play against these AIs, especially if you love RTS games or if you love Total Annihilation, this is truly the game to get into because the AI is so fun. It's so interesting. There's all different kinds of strategies and possibilities for the players to utilize. So to me, it's kind of like taking TA, the best parts of TA, and then making it a co-op adventure. So that is what that's what I'm going to showcase today in this game against the Allowed AI. So here in the bottom will be my team of myself and my friends. We represent the 4 factions in Forged Alliance and Allowed. So in orange we have Mr. Scrooge McCuck. He's the ACU for the UEF. So the UEF is like the human faction in this game. They specialize in... They're sort of similar to Core in some ways. They just specialize in having a lot of health and a lot of firepower. The units take a lot of damage and deal a lot of damage. They simply like to overwhelm their opponents with brute strength and sheer power. So that is the UEF faction. That's their design philosophy. They have a lot of health on their units and buildings. They do a lot of front-loaded damage and strong shielding as well. So here you have me as the Cybran commander, also called the Spiky Boys. The Cybrans are, well, they're a little different because the Cybran philosophy is more of sort of a cloak and dagger. They use a lot of stealth. They use a lot of intelligence and counterintelligence. They like to use sneaky, unconventional tactics and approaches on their unsuspecting opponents, and they play the game in what could be considered a bit of a disrespectful or unorthodox way. So that is the Cybran faction. Let's go ahead and talk about actually... Next, we'll talk about the Aeon. The Aeon faction is the faction of technological superiority. They have found some alien technology. It's human beings that found alien technology and then began worshipping these aliens as gods. So their faction relies on having technological advantages over others. Their units usually have special abilities or powers that the others don't. And they can, like, technologically, they can do things, and they have features on their armies that are very, very strong and very difficult to deal with in general. So that will be the Aeon faction, and then finally the Seraphim, which was added in the Forged Alliance expansion, and this is the faction that this is the alien faction that appears in the that actually the Aeon found originally. So the Seraphim is the alien faction, and they are somewhere between the UEF and the Aeon. They have sort of the same philosophy of firepower and death as the UEF, but they also are very technologically advanced. I would say the biggest weakness of the Seraphim in general is that their units and structures are very expensive, so they definitely have a quality over quantity approach, and they can get overwhelmed by some of the other factions whose stuff can be quite a bit cheaper. But here in the beginning, we just got some UEF mech marines and Aeon Auroras patrolling the north, and So, guys, my team strategy in this particular game, here's what we were going to do. I was going to fight for the sea, okay? So my strategy was, I'm going to try and take this entire naval seaboard and clear this all out from the enemy's clutches. And the reason why is because in the sea, as you can see, there's plenty of mass spots, so there's metal, essentially, in the water. And so, if I can take control of the sea, it allows me to basically control a huge part of the map and have a massive economic advantage. Now, one thing that's interesting about the green player in this game, Mr. Ratface, is that he is trying a very unorthodox strategy. And this is why I love this mod, is because you can do these really interesting, unorthodox, clever things. And, I mean, the sky is almost the limit in terms of what you can do. I would say that the amount of strategic possibilities in this mod is much higher than in most strategy games. Just because of what basically the tools that the mod affords you and gives you. So I want to just point a lot of those out in this particular game, just to show you how much unique potential and possibility there is if you do love TA or co-op games or both. So guys, one thing that's different about this mod as compared to something like Escalation or OTA is that your commander is very, very beefy. As you can see, the UEF commander with almost 30,000 health. I mean, that is a ton. Like, to give a comparison, if it was the OTA commander in this mod, he would probably have something like 3,000 health. I'd say that's probably about equivalent. So, commander in this mod is just designed to be a combat unit. You don't have to use it in combat, but you absolutely can. And the commander, when used in combat, is an absolute juggernaut. And not only does the commander start out very strong in combat and it's basically an army unto himself, but you can further upgrade the commander with all kinds of interesting different features and cannons and laser beams and extra construction options, make them faster, make them invisible to radar, make them teleport, make them shoot torpedoes. I mean, the sky is really the limit, and every faction has different upgrades, so I tend to use my commander very aggressively in this mod because that's how they're designed. Of course, my teammates don't always play that way, but that's how I like to play it, and that's I think that's a really interesting thing. The commander is not just meant to stay in the back or just used in a desperate gambit to try and stay alive, like in the last game I just cast, in that 2v2. The commander is actually designed for combat, and they are very, very damn hard to kill. Now, as the game progresses, just like in Escalation, they do become easier to kill once you get to the T3 and T4 phase. And yes, there is T3 and T4 in this. Then yes, the commander does become quite easier to kill once you've got the experimentals. But right now, very difficult to kill as sort of an army unto himself. So again, I wanted to focus on what Green is doing. Green is establishing a little satellite base here, and he's building little artillery installations. So these would be like the equivalent to like a Guardian or a Punisher. And he's just going to start shelling the AI from this little base here. As you can see, he's on a little mountaintop, just perched above the AI's base, and so this is my friend. This is my green friend strategy here. He wants to make a little base outside the AI's base and just do as much work as possible to try and shell him from the high ground. So guys, that to me, that is just a really neat feature and strategy among so many that you can do. The orange player, I've simply asked him to defend the middle. So orange has just moved up here, he's building units and he's building defenses, and he's just going to make a wall to try and not let the AI break through. And then white is right now he's upgrading his commander, but He is, I think, just going to rush to T3 and start pumping out some T3 units. So his strategy is basically just to get to the higher techs, rush the higher techs, deal as much damage as possible. So already I'm making a naval army. I've got some frigates and attack submarines. The frigates are they're similar to the corvettes or destroyers in Escalation, but submarines also very strong for controlling the sea. Let's go ahead and check out the AI base. So the AIs, they're just going to expand out onto the map ruthlessly. As you can see, Green has now built a couple factories, and he's just going to be sending more and more units to protect this satellite expansion and then begin to shell the AI's base ruthlessly and without mercy. But the AI is very good at expanding, and the Loud AI, one thing it's especially good at doing is picking up armies of units in transports and flying them into the enemy base, or you know, into places behind enemy lines where they're very undefended. So the Loud AI loves to exploit your weaknesses. It loves to find the places that you are the most vulnerable, and then it will, if it can, it will exploit those vulnerabilities. The white player gives some of his units to Green, and again, Green now building a shield generator. He's going to start upgrading his strategy of just building a front base. This is sometimes called Operation Foothold among my friends and I. So you're building a base just outside of there. It's almost like a beachhead, and then shelling them to death. And it can work if it's supported and if it's executed correctly. So, but the AI, or Yellow in particular, now with a large army of T1 and T2 units, he is going to be pushing in on us. And the battle for the sea has not yet begun because I am currently still building up a force of frigates and submarines, but I'm also including some Salems, the T2 destroyers, into the mix. So yeah, like I said, the battle for the sea, it is about to begin. My commander, like I said, I'm using him at the front. And finally sending my first naval force out there. And those will clash with the enemy's submarines, but fortunately I have a lot more submarines. This is a decently sized army. My commander will begin to engage in combat here. But as you can see, the commander's strong, but he's not invincible. He can get overwhelmed. These are the Aeon Blazes. They're interesting because they're hovers, so these can hover over water as well. And my commander seems to be outranging most of this as I kite it back, and then Yellow forced to retreat, realizing that he doesn't want to push too hard. However, Red has brought some artillery, and he will begin shelling my base. He's got some anti-air as well. He's also got the Tech 2 amphibious bot. Is this Iltha? I don't know how to pronounce that exactly. But either way, my base is going to start to get shredded as both Red and Yellow begin pushing. And Red, also in the sea with these cruisers, they will be shooting missiles inland and targeting my structures and Yellow's structures. So yeah, we're having a fight for the middle, but in the meantime, my naval force of destroyers, submarines, and frigates has made it to Red's production, and I will take out his shipyards and begin moving towards Yellow shipyards as well, which are right here. Ping the map. Oh, I guess the replayer won't let me ping the map. But either way, now using my commander to try and push off these frigates, but as you can see, the frigates do a lot of damage. I'm going to be forced back. Guys, it's just like TA, if you lose your commander, that's it. So you got to be careful. I've got some destroyers in the mix here. Nice little fleet, and I seem to have attacked it just the right time. The destroyers are cool because not only do they have these cannons, but they also have anti-air and torpedoes as well. So I found Yellow's production. I will begin taking that down. Yellow is going to lose his naval base here. And once both red and yellow have lost their naval base, that does give me control of the sea. I just have to kill everything else, but yeah, I've got fleets and fleets of frigates, submarines, and destroyers roving around the sea, trying to clear it out so that I can claim control. But in the meantime, Green has successfully implemented his strategy. He originally had the Tech 1 artillery installations, now building the Tech 2 artillery installations, and some tactical missile launchers as well. And he's got shields, he's got air defense, he's going to begin shelling the AI and keeping them busy. And I think this is actually helping me a lot to, you know, maintain control of the sea. Of course, right now, I'm not paying attention. My whole army getting taken out by some T2 torpedo launchers, which is not really ideal, but there is a lot to micro. There is a lot to do. I've got a patrolling group of Mantis to protect my base, because the AI, like I said, it will drop you. It loves to drop you. It loves to get behind your defenses and wreak all kinds of havoc. So yeah, again, the AI is pushing on our front, but lots of defenses being built here. Some T3 heavy point defenses, plasma batteries. My commander, I had to pull him back because he is about half health now, and I don't want to lose him because I would basically lose the game there. Yeah, I think these defenses will be enough for now to push that force back. And red and yellow, at least for now, going to be put on the defensive. Yellow's still with this nice satellite base. He is getting shelled by a single mobile heavy artillery. But one shouldn't be that big of a problem as he continues to shell the enemy. I've still got more and more naval units moving through the middle and trying to find targets and kick the AI out of the sea, like I said. Just because once you can kick them out of the sea, it becomes much easier to control this side of the map. And that was basically my strategy. So, yeah, right now, orange holding the middle. White working on T3. It looks like he's already got several T3 factories. And red with a support armored command unit that has gotten behind enemy lines. So guys, in Forged Alliance, one thing you can do that's really cool. Oh, hold that thought, because red has a massive drop of units, like I said. This is what the AI loves to do. They will gather their armies into transports, and then they will drop them at places where the enemy is vulnerable. And I think what they're trying to do here is sandwich green. So yellow is moving in from the front, and then red just dropped this entire army from the back. And one thing you can do in Forged Alliance is make platoons. So the AI loves to use these platoons. The units will move in formation, and they're all now moving toward green's base to try and shell him to death. That will be an interesting... we'll have to see what the outcome is. White bringing his commander to try and help, but this may be a little too late. Green about to be under siege here. That is so many units. There's even shields and some T3 in the mix, so that is absolutely terrifying. And yeah, let's just keep an eye on this, because again, green's little base here is in trouble. Red moving forward with his army, but there is a lot of defenses, and the artillery that's in this base is then turned towards the army, and it will kill it and push it back. So guys, when I was playing this game, I wasn't really watching too much what was happening here, because I was fighting for the sea. As I mentioned before, I was kind of in a war trying to claim this all for myself. But now that I'm watching the replay, it's interesting to see how Green's base was being, how he was trying to maintain it and protect it while being endlessly assaulted upon. As you can see, red now with some Seraphim artillery batteries, the mobile artillery batteries, He is absolutely bombarding this base here. The shields will eventually go down. You can see their little blue health bar. They do not have infinite health. And so green firing back with his own artillery. So it's basically become an artillery war. Not that different from what from cast in a lot of my OTA games, my Pro-TA and Escalation and the other mods I cast. So the artillery spam, at the very least, keeping the AI busy. It hasn't really killed much of their base yet, but I do think it's got a lot of tactical missile launchers, and they're all building up stockpiles. So the tactical missile launchers are a bit like the repulsors in Escalation. They do quite a bit of damage. They have to build a stockpile, but I like this strategy. It's really interesting. It seems to be, at least, if not working, at least it's keeping the AI occupied for now. The AI also sending some gunships to try and stop this, but there's just way too much there, so... But however, the AI is now dropping here as well. They will fly these dropships full of units to where the players are the most vulnerable. Oh my god, I think I missed that. So what happened... Wow, sorry I missed that, but what happened was he fired all these tactical missiles at the same time at the Yellow's commander and ends up killing him instantly. However, because there are support command units still alive, Yellow will live until all the support command units are killed. So, guys, as I was saying before, one thing in Forged Alliance that's really cool is that, oh no, I think, yeah, I think green is having energy problems because of shields. So guys, if you don't have enough energy, your shields will go down. And you don't ever want that to happen, because then your base is vulnerable. But one thing I was saying is that in Forged Alliance you can build these support commanders, which aren't quite as strong as your original commander, but they still are, you know, probably about half as powerful, and they build things extremely quickly. They can be upgraded for combat. They can be upgraded as like units that assist around your base. So there's just a lot of functionality in these support armored command units for like many commanders. And in this mod, it's not enough just to kill the commander. You have to kill all the support commanders as well. So it's a really interesting feature of Forged Alliance, and they come from these quantum gateways that Yellow just built. So we'll keep an eye on that, but I think green, his base definitely being sieged. The AI is still struggling with it, but I, for the most part, have taken control of the sea here. I've kicked the AI out of the sea, and it really felt like there was a good possibility this game for me to win. I mean, for our team to win. Yet there's another tactical missile attack. It will take out. Yellow was working on a resource generator, but that will be taken out. However, as you can see, green now being shelled even more. The shields crumbling under the weight of all of this firepower. So the AI does not like my friend here at all. He is trying to kick him out of that spot, bringing more and more artillery into the fray to try and kill this base. And in the meantime, Yellow's still attempting to hold the middle, and White just pumping out, looks like White basically upgrading his eco, but yeah, I've got naval forces now bombarding the shorelines, trying to keep the AI from expanding, but also killing them from the shores. Red's entire base is vulnerable once I get to T3, but green, yeah, this base, it's... Look at all the firepower the AI has brought to bear. Look at all of the destruction. These shields are not going to be able to hold on for very long. Good God. Look at the amount of artillery raining down onto Green's base. And the shields are now crumbling. And once the shield generators are killed, they will be destroyed permanently. So, yeah, the AI has had enough of green shenanigans. Mr. Ratface. He's going to be kicked out, I think. Kicked out of the, kicked off the island. As, it's definitely not an ideal situation. He's lost everything. This entire strategy now crumbling. Now the AI brings in the air as well. Bringing in the aircraft to finish this off. And this strategy has now been sent into the abyss. Green will lose everything here. And after that, green was basically done. So green was frustrated that that didn't work. He invested almost everything into that strategy. And the AI basically countered it. They were able to stop it. Now, I do think that our teammates could have helped more. Like, I think if White had built an actual army and sent it up there to, like, move through here and kill some of the artillery. So, guys, teamwork is really important in this mod. It's a co-op game. You need to be working together and try to support each other's strategies. But that doesn't always happen. Everyone's sort of doing their own thing. It's just like an escalation game. So, oh, it says that Goober, so that's yellow, has built an experimental unit. Where is that? Where's the experimental unit? Yellow's sending in gunships, but it looks like here on the front line we've got plenty of air defense. Red also with some gunships, but those will be quickly brought down. So yeah, it said yellow built an experimental, but just off the shoreline of Red's base, I begin to shell him and harass him from the sea. Let's go ahead and see like we can find this experimental anywhere. Anyway, I'm sure we'll find it eventually. But yeah, the computer continues trying to break through this base, and they're somewhat successful. His artillery installations being killed, the shield generator going down, more artillery goodness raining down onto Orange's base, and he's lost another shield generator with the computer putting pressure. It says, oh, okay, that's what, I think this is what the experimental units, so these are the, they've built experimental defenses. These are experimental point defenses and experimental air defenses. That's what Yellow's building. But it also says that White, yeah, so White built experimental anti-air unit. White's also building an Eliash, experimental heavy assault mech. And as you can see, that is a big boy. Excited to see what happens when that gets finished. But yeah, the AI continuing to put pressure on this front line, and Orange now firing back with his own heavy artillery, keeping the shelling alive. I've mostly taken control of the sea here, and I'm now shelling Red's base. But guys, one cool thing about Cybran is that their destroyers can actually sprout legs and walk on land. So I'm trying to keep Red busy, but here in the sea, I'm finally on T3, and guys, the advantage of being on T3 is that I can now build battleships and naval bombardment ships, and so I'll be able to shell Red's base much more easily once I have those T3 battleships. So finally, this Eliash has been completed. And, wow, what a giant piece of crap that is, but man, I'm excited to see it in action. Here we go. Got the techno lasers absolutely demolishing everything in its path. But Red still bombarding my orange friend, losing more and more of his base. There's so much happening here. The defenses beginning to crumble, I think, as Red's army is quite impressive. Man, yeah, Yellow's starting to lose everything. All of his defense is going down. But they will be able to push back that assault for now. And now I also, in my naval force, I have some bombardment ships. This is like a heavy battleship, C-class. What does it say? Sea Dragon class, and then this is the Magna class Tech 3 bombardment ship. Two different kinds of bombardment ships that I'm bringing up to Red Space. I'm trying to help my teammates because I see that they're under pressure here in the middle. And, oh. Okay, so hold that thought, guys. So what happened there was something that happens often in escalation games. My teammates did not build any anti-nukes, so yeah. So there's a nuke on the screen. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, yellow built a nuke launcher, and my teammate white did not build an anti-nuke. And so usually the game gives you a notification when there's a nuke. So I don't know why I didn't get the audio warning, but anyways, because my teammates did not build anti-nukes, I think we were winning at this point. Like, at this point of the game, we were pretty far ahead. Even though Green lost his little satellite base, I've taken complete control of the sea. And it feels like white and orange are holding the middle, so we could... I feel like if I could kill red from the sea and continue to push that way, we might be able to just kind of close in on them. But my teammate has been nuked. Didn't build any anti-nukes. So most of his base is just gone. He's lost almost everything, including his commander. So my teammate getting nuked, definitely putting the advantage back on the AI side. Because my teammates did not build for nuke defense. And that is a shame. Elias now moving into the fray. The techno lasers taking everything down. But how long can this thing last? Man, what a beast. What an absolute monster this guy is. And I think he will be eventually brought down, but 45 kills, 46. Oh man, almost 50 kills on this bad boy. He is really taking forever to stop. We'll finally be put down there. So, yeah, look, my teammate's getting or white getting nuked. Very, very bad for him. Like, that's putting it lightly. It's not a great situation to be in. However, all is not lost. I am now bombarding Red's base from the sea. I've got 2 bombardment ships raining down hell, 2 super battleships, absolutely crushing Red's base. So the game is not over, but the second nuke is almost finished, and we want to keep an eye on this because my teammates, despite getting nuked, still did not build nuke defense. I don't really know why, but yeah, either way, bombardment ships shelling Red's base from the sea. The endless display of carnage and destruction as shells and firepower rain down, taking out everything in their path. And yeah, so I think green got doom dropped here. The drop came behind green, so the yellow AI brought some dropships just like this and dropped into green's base and killed him. So green will leave the game. That makes it now a 3v2. It started as a 4v2, a 4 of us against 2 AI, but now it is a 3v2. However, I'm still shelling yellow's base, but let me keep an eye on this. Oh, I think another nuke was launched. There it is. There's the second nuke. Moving in, and orange does not have defense. Oh my god, now the AI is collapsing on our team. 2 nukes have been fired already. Ratface, the green player, has been killed in a drop. And here in the middle, this base has been nuked to death, and now it's being shelled to death. White will just leave the game because he realizes it's over. And orange will leave as well, so now it is just me versus 2 AI, and what was once looking very promising, like a game that we were going to win, now feeling like just the opposite. Me against 2 fully powered AI, but I'm not going to give up. Even though my teammates have left or been killed, I'm content to battle this out to the bitter end. So I'm still shelling Red's base from the shoreline, doing as much damage as possible. And I've got more ships moving in as well, so the game will continue, but it's much harder now that my teammates are gone. Yellow now with these transports picking up his units and moving them elsewhere. White did give me what was left of this base down here to try and defend, but man, look at all of the carnage from the sea. Guys, the issue is, even though I have a ton of ships and I'm controlling the sea, and I can bombard them, I can't get any of this stuff with my ships. Got some scouts flying over, give me vision. But, yeah, the AI is going to quickly spread and expand everywhere, which is what it's so good at doing, and then it becomes very difficult to try and control the map once you're in that situation. And even though I've shelled a lot of Red's base, it doesn't really matter because I've got more and more armies coming down here. They find my commander, and he will be killed. Red now moving forward into White's old base that he gave me, and he's going to be killing these defenses. And now Yellow, with this army, as you can see, the AI already moving to expand to the old bases that my teammates had. Now I'm still in the game because I still have support armored command units, so those will keep me alive, but the issue is that even though I'm still alive, oh no, he sends a nuke over to this base, and yeah, he nukes my defenses there. I'm not really sure why he didn't nuke the shields or the commanders, but either way, it will take out most of the stuff there. All of my buildings are gone. Building some monkey lords. There's a T4 experimental for Cybran. And trying to shell the AI from the shoreline. Got to try to keep him from expanding. Reaper class escort frigate with powerful lasers. They can clear the coast somewhat. I'm continuing. See, most of Red's base is now gone. It's been shelled to death here. So I've taken out this one base, but guys, there are still so many bases. And now, Red building yet another base here where my teammate's old base used to be. So not only am I still fighting for the sea, I'm also fighting for these bases that were once my allies' bases. I'm trying to hang on to my side of the map. Got this naval force moving through the west, but now these two monkey lords move in and clear out what's left of that base. How much else can they do? I will find some of Yellow's base is working on his own Eliash. I will lose the monkey lords. I will kill a few things, but ultimately the nuke still lives. Most of Yellow's base still intact there. I'm going to move my army here and try to shell it from the shoreline. So, but yeah, the issue is Red now expanding to where, what was this? Was this Green's old base? And I'm sending armies of units to the battle station of the Dervish. Got to send forces to both protect myself and stop this ruthless expansionism. But now Yellow He's shelling my base. He's hitting me with artillery. Still in control of the sea, and this base has mostly been killed. But again, I have control of the sea, but I don't have control of the land. Yellow and red putting all kinds of pressure on my base there. Red expanding to these old bases. And now I'm getting closed into a corner, so where just a few minutes ago we had control of the map and we were closing the AI into a corner, and we probably would have been able to win, the situation has now been reversed. And man, look at all the bombardment though. Shelling the AI's base from the sea, trying to kill them and stop them from spreading. Look at all the firepower. Look at all of these shells. And I think I will begin targeting probably the shield generator. It's kind of hard to tell from the replay what I'm targeting. But yeah, there we go. There comes the bombardment. The shields will go down. Power generators will go down. The nuke silo will go down. Look at all of the firepower there. Just trying to clear Yellow's base. But in the meantime, I'm being besieged upon from both Yellow and Red. Bring a little mini experimental into the fray with Mad Bolos. Fighting the good fight. We've got a Monkey Lord here as well. We're doing our level best to try and hang on and survive. But yeah, enemy putting on the pressure. I can barely do enough to just defend myself. And yeah, Red has expanded here to where my old teammate was. Yellow has now made a base here. And even though I'm still shelling Yellow from the shoreline, I'm doing it pretty successfully. They've still got these two main bases that are fairly intact. So all of this may count for nothing in the end, unless I can find a way to actually break through and kill some of these bases here on the east side. But yeah, for now, just content to shell Yellow into the Dark Ages. Fairly effectively. We lose almost everything on this base. Shelled from the sea by those Sea Dragon class bombardment ships, which are really cool to watch and build, but they're also very expensive. So I'm finally sending my squad of experimentals into Red's base here. On the shadow of my old teammate's base. Got to clear that out and keep the AI from just expanding anywhere, because if they can just be allowed to expand wherever they want, their economy just becomes too strong to stop. And as you can see, Red has already re-expanded some of his base, and now he's reclaiming that starting base as well. So not an ideal situation for me whatsoever. Now pushing forward to try and kill Yellow's expansion here. A couple of experimentals. These units are moving in formation, which is why they're kind of bumping into each other. But it's better than them moving all at their own speed, and then yeah, it's not really ideal, because then they all just go in one by one. So as you can see, I've cleared out these two bases. Try not to let the AI just do whatever it wants. I'm still shelling things from the sea. And this time I have built a couple anti-nukes here in this base so that they can't just nuke me again. But the issue is, I mean, the game is still pretty close. The scores, these are the scores here. So you can tell a lot by the scores. I think this is, yeah. So their score is only about, let's see, what is that? Their score is only about, what, 70,000 more than mine, which is it's something, but I've still got this massive naval army. This armada. I'm still shelling them from the shorelines. They've built another nuke, but I do have some nuke defense. Here, at least in this base, I've got a couple anti-nukes. I don't think I built any here, though. That was a mistake not to build anti-nukes at this second base that I have. But I have at least cleared them out of this area, but as you can see, they're like a cancer. Even if you clear them out, they will just simply begin expanding again already. With a support armored command unit, you can see how strong these things are. Flying down here, rebuilding that old base, getting everything back into the mix. Red has already rebuilt a lot of his base here, and now he's got this thing. Heavy Arthur-bot and melee experimental. So now targeting the commander. These bombardment ships aren't super accurate, but that's not really the point. You just kind of want to overwhelm your opponent with sheer firepower. And that is what they do very well. And yeah, Red will lose his commander, but unfortunately he's still got tons of support commanders. And this is what I was mentioning before. I did not build anti-nukes at this base, so this base will be nuked. I will lose all of that. Yellow has doom dropped me. He's bringing even more units into the southwest of my base, and I will have to send some experimentals. But unfortunately, even though I've got enough to stop this is hurting my economy. They'll take out my hydropower plant, which is kind of like the geothermals. They'll take out a lot of my mass. And as you can see, I'm holding on for dear life here, but it's not enough to just hold on for dear life. I've got to actually find a way to beat the AI as more and more drops come down, dropping all this in the south of the map. Trying to 1v2 these guys. I mean, like I said, it was hard enough when it was 1v4, but now... Or, excuse me, it was hard enough when it was 4v2, but now in a 1v2. It's much harder. The AI is just relentless with their drops, with their nukes, with this endless pressure moving down the map. They will really pick you apart if you let them. Dropping behind this base now, so... What my strategy now, I've built an experimental land factory, and I'm going to do like a desperate last push of experimentals, so I'm building... Ooh, and I just teleported in an army of experimentals and support armored command units, so I'm going to try to build an army of experimentals and walk into Red's base and Yellow's base and just see if I can sweep through here and kill them with just an army of these like monkey lords and mega roaches in addition to my bombardment ships. But the issue is that I'm sort of being set upon in my old base, or my original base, with the constant pressure. Another nuke comes down and will take out what was left of that and put my experimentals pretty low, kill a lot of units there. So guys, this is my big plan. I'm just gonna try and overwhelm the unit with one desperate final push. It's become clear to me that like I can't win a straight up fight. I have to do something dramatic. The AI now moving down, retaking these bases. The whole situation just looking more and more desperate as time goes on. So yeah, this base was killed. They're simply closing in on me, sending wave after wave of units. I'm stuck in a corner in the sea, now being besieged upon by Yellow. And once again, building an army of experimentals. They're under the water now, but I will eventually, once I have enough, move them into the fray, move them on land, and just try and push as hard as I can. But guys, the issue is, look at how many Tsars the AI is building. The Tsar, the experimental aircraft carrier. These are like the ships from Independence Day with the massive beams that shoot down from the sky, and they will simply eviscerate anything beneath them. There's a unit just like them in Escalation as well. So here yellow already has one moving in, and he's going to begin sieging my naval army. And I do have enough air defense here to stop it, but it still dealt quite a bit of damage. It almost killed one of these sea dragons. And the problem really is that he's got a lot more. He's building tons of them. He's also building ground-based experimentals. Here we have a King Crafter. We've got, what was this? Another King Crafter. We've got experimental point defenses. We've got the Yenzotha, I think is how you say that. And so, yeah, now red in my base, attacking my structures. They're building up outside of here, and even though I'm doing my best to hang on, it really does feel like the only way, like they're even taking back the sea. Red has built another naval base in the water, so they are now in control. I mean, they're not in control of the sea, but it's, you know, I've lost control of most of the sea. They've now nuked this bottom left base, so, you know, as you can see, they're closing a box around me, now doing another drop, basically on top of my structures. A lot of those drop ships will be shot down, but I just don't have enough defense here to stop this. As you can see, this is just not a great situation at all. And on top of that, I think they've got a long range, like a Big Bertha somewhere, just shelling me. Oh, here it is. Yeah, they've got two Berthas. But, okay, so hold that thought. So I finally am ready for this last desperate push that's going to try and win the game, you know, because, again, it's clear that there's no way I'm going to win in a prolonged battle, so I've just got to do as much as I can with this last desperate experimental push. Yeah, I think several of my monkey lords were already killed at the beginning of this engagement. The Storm Strider will die. The Mega Roaches do so much damage, and so does this Avalanche. It's like almost like a tier 5, basically. But now they've got a Tsar flying in, and I have no air defense. So this massive flying saucer of doom will simply chunk down my armor. And with that, the Tsar goes down at the same time. But yeah, with that, there goes that push. That was guys, that was the last plan I had. That was my whole strategy. That was my the last hurrah. I still do have some stuff in the sea, but I might be able to take the sea back, right? Like if I really tried, I might be able to wrestle control of the sea away. But guys, the reality was they were way too far ahead and they were closing in on me. So guys, that's a game allowed. I put the link, if you want to play it, I'll put the link in the description. You do need Forged Alliance on Steam, but otherwise it's free. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next cast.